Buffalo head coach Felicia Leggett Jack, Summer Hemphill, and Daisha Fair. We will start with an opening statement from head coach.
What an exciting time this is. This is what you wake up every morning for as a coach, is to get to March. And, you see all these coaches that been in the business for 30 and 40 years, and it's that feeling you get, something you can't describe. It's just excitement and enthusiasm. It's like the purpose of breathing, if you will. And we're so thrilled to be here. We're so humbled by this opportunity, and as a head coach, and I got to tell you, it's been part of my life for the last 33 years, and as a coach and a player, probably a couple more years after that, before that. Every single March has been the most important month of the year. My birthday's in September, but for some reason I get more excited about the month of March. So let's go.
We'll now open it up for questions for the student athletes. Please raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. Any questions for the student athletes? Oh, right here.
Heather Prusak, WIVB in Buffalo. This is for Deasia or for Summer. How helpful is it coming into this game? You guys have such momentum on your side, winning 9 straight, 14 out of 15. Just what does that do for your confidence level coming into this one?
We just take it one game at a time. We don't necessarily look back at our wins or losses. We do use them as information for our upcoming games, though, to just see what we did good, what we can do better, what we need to work on. But other than that, we like to look forward to who our next opponent is and how we can get the win out of the next 40 minutes.
And then right here down in front.
Rachel Lindsay from the Buffalo News. First off, what does it mean for Deasia or for Summer here, first off, to be in Thompson Bowling Arena, kind of the house that Pat Summitt built, but at the same time, how do you not kind of let those feelings overwhelm you as you prepare for the tournament?
Well, we just look at it as another game, no matter where we are. So, although she was a wonderful coach and had a wonderful career, we just look at it as another game.
Over here.
Therese Walker, the Associated Press, for both Summer and I'm going to mess up your name even though I've been trying to spell it or say it correctly. You all were in the tournament last year in the bubble and have been around a little bit. How different has this experience been so far? Have you gotten your swag box yet? And have you noticed anything that maybe stands out that's improved from last year?
Well, to pronounce her name is Deasia. And for your question, we didn't make the NCAA tournament last year, so we didn't have that experience. But just to be here is a blessing. As far as swag boxes or anything, we've gotten sneakers so far, and honestly, anything that we're given, we're thankful for. It's been a while since we've been to the NCAA tournament. I'm obviously a 6 year, so I've had that experience, but to see the underclassmen get this experience as well is tremendous, and I'm thankful that we're here, and hopefully we're able to just represent Buffalo in the best way possible.
For either of you guys, I think we've all seen over the years that mid-majors shouldn't be underestimated. So for you guys coming in here, do you kind of have that chip on your shoulder mentality coming into an SEC team's home court?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
Just do you guys kind of have a little chip on your shoulder being a mid-major coming into, an SEC team's home court?
I would say yes. Just the fact that mid-majors are honestly underrated and people don't really give us that, I wouldn't say press, but the recognition that we do deserve in a way. So just to be here on this court and obviously the history surrounded by Tennessee, we are we do want to put on for not only Buffalo but for mid-majors, and just show that we do deserve to be in this tournament and recognized.
Jenna Caleri, Channel 7, WKBW in Buffalo. Summer, correct me if I'm wrong. Have you been with this program every single time they've made the NCAA tournament?
They made it the year before I initially came to Buffalo, which was 2016, which was their first MAC championship. But since then, it's been a while, but I've been with the program.
Okay, so because I know you're the 6-year senior thing confused me. So you've been with this program 3 of their 4 trips to the NCAA tournament, and you've watched this program grow year after year. How special has it been to join this program all those years ago, see how much this program has grown, and to see the success that this program has continued to do year after year?
It's honestly amazing, and obviously the players are the ones that are out there putting the points up, defending, but we got to give recognition to our coaches who put the scouts together, who put the time together, who leave their families to make sure that their student athletes that they're coaching are getting the best experience from their college careers. So just to see the time that they've put in over the time throughout my 6 years, it just goes to show that without them, there's no us, and without us, there's no them.
Right here down in front.
Deasia, when you look at the matchup with Tennessee, I know they've got a really dynamic blocker. They are going to be without their leading scorer once again, though. Just when you're watching them on film, how do you guys stack up against them, and what jumps out to you when you're watching Tennessee?
The biggest thing I see is they're just bigger than us, and that really is the only thing that I see that's different. So I wouldn't say anything else other than that.
And question right over here down front.
Deasia, this is for you. Just a sophomore, you're already, one of the leading scorer. You're the leading scorer in school's history. But to have someone like Summer, who's been around for, so many seasons and been to this tournament before, what's it like to have her to kind of, be a leader for you guys and help you grow and settle into this role?
I'm a junior, so sorry. But being able to play with her finally for my first full year, and her having the experience that she has been just a tremendous thing. I mean, it's nothing like having a true vet on your team.
Any more questions? Right over here in front.
Yeah, and then building off that, Summer, you have been here your fair share of times. Deasia just called you a vet on the team. How much pride do you take in being a leader and, showing these young ladies what it takes to get to a tournament like this and to succeed in a tournament like this? How much pride do you take in being a senior leader, a 6th-year senior leader, and really just your final hurrah of your career?
I'm thankful. Obviously, I'm using my COVID year, so I'm thankful in a way that COVID happened, because without COVID, I would not be here. And these last 2 years have been hard for me with my injury. So just to be able to be a vet and lead this team, and all the questions that they asked me throughout the season, very, very good questions that you wouldn't think a lot of underclassmen would ask. They asked me those type of questions, especially about not only this tournament but the MAC tournament. And the question that they asked and the answers that I provided allowed us to be successful, as well as Adebola Adeyeye, who also was with us in the 2019 NCAA tournament. So the questions that they asked, they definitely prevailed us throughout the MAC tournament. So hopefully they've been asking away so far, and hopefully that leads to more victories.
And then down here in the front on the left.
First, apologies, Deasia, and for both of you. Coming from the MAC, going on the road and dealing with, do you want a big crowd, even if it's against you? And does it create energy in the building no matter who they're cheering for?
I wouldn't say we necessarily pay attention to the crowd, but we're thankful for whoever comes and supports women's basketball. We're thankful for all the fans that do support women's basketball, because during these times it's starting to be brought to our attention that there are women's basketball players who deserve the recognition that is being given now. And women's basketball is a sport that needs to be watched and needs to be up there with all the other great sports that are always on ESPN. So we're thankful for whoever comes and supports.
Paul Peck from Buffalo Bulls Radio. For both DeAsia and Summer, you played against South Carolina earlier this year down in the Bahamas. What did you learn against playing against a very good, talented SEC team that you might be able to use in preparing for another very good SEC team tomorrow?
Seeing that they are the #1 team in the country and the way we played against them, I would say that it showed that this team that I'm a part of can compete with anyone in the country.
I would say that was very early in the season, and it was actually one of our first few games as a team, and we were still trying to fill each other out, trying to see what we're good at, where should I pass this person the ball, what are they good at. So I would say that game definitely showed us a lot, and it obviously showed our growth throughout the entire season, and we actually remind ourselves of that game a lot. Well, I do personally, just to see our growth throughout the entire season. So whenever, like, we lost, I believe, one game in February, and just to look back at the growth from the team from then and now, it wasn't really anything to hang our head over, especially with it still in conference play and not necessarily in postseason play. But to use that game for this game in particular, I would say it's a team effort, not really anything individually, but more so everything that we needed to work on when we played South Carolina, we've already touched up upon, and our coaches already provided us with a lot of information that has transferred onto the court for this upcoming game.
We have time for one more question for our student athletes. Okay. Student athletes, thank you guys for joining us today. You were dismissed and get ready to go for practice.
Thank you.
And now we'll open it up for questions for our head coach. Right here in front.
Coach, obviously Tennessee hasn't had their leading scorer, Jordan Horston, for the past month. Not having her, though, does that change how you prepare for this game? Because she's not going to play again on Saturday? Or, maybe how does that factor into the game plan, I guess, for you guys?
We don't have our best defensive player either, and Cheyenne hasn't been with us for 6 weeks, and we had to adjust. And I think Tennessee adjusts. You adjust with what you have. There's no excuses. There's no asterisks to the win or the loss. It is what it is. And unfortunately, I hate these injuries for both teams. I certainly would wish Cheyenne could be with us. We'd be I think a better defensive team with her. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, and we're not gonna. Tennessee's Tennessee. They got multiple players that can do multiple things, and our goal is to just not look at Tennessee, but to really focus on Buffalo, and do Buffalo and focus on Buffalo, because it can get overwhelming for young kids, young players. If you think about all the history behind here and the greatness that happens before here, 40 years of NCAA births, and so we say let's just do Buffalo.
Just to follow up, you talked about having it not get overwhelming, but this team and a lot of players on this team have that NCAA tournament experience, and some players that went to the Sweet 16 with you guys a couple years ago. How does that help in the process of not making the moment too big and getting overwhelmed?
We're just excited. We're just in the now. We're just so about what's today about, where our feet are, and really can't look back a couple years ago and say this is what it felt like and this is what it's going to be like. Summer can't answer that. I can't answer that. This is for these young people, and this is what makes it so exciting to be a part of the march, because it's so different and so new, and it's so the difference is Addie's now is Addie. Addie is just seeing her right now at this moment is all I care about, because it's just beautiful to see. If you haven't met Addie, you're missing out on a treat. And to sit next to Summer. Summer came to us 6 years ago and would never speak. She just did her shoulders, and she really had she didn't value her voice. And when I hear her speak and articulate and speak so long and beautiful and graceful and look so beautiful over here, and watching DeAsia learn from her, and DeAsia's going to be that person next. To get text from Sierra Dillard just before I got on this stage, and to hear her say, Coach, we put Buffalo in people's mouths already by just being who we are. Don't go to that stage and be somebody else. And we're not. We're not going to look back. We're not going to look forward. We're going to just be.
Felicia, for you, having your team in really one of the cradles of women's basketball, and you think about Pat Summitt's influence on the game,
Man.
how do you communicate that history to your players as they're entering here?
You know what? We talked about Pat a lot earlier on what she's done and how I had my first, sit down with her and how she paved the way for women's basketball. And we also talk about Lady Vivian Stringer, how she paved the way for women's basketball, and also Coach Washington from Kansas, and what Dawn Staley's doing right now with the net and the opportunity for us all to become. And but what's neat thing is that as this place grew, other places can grow as well. And it just gives us a formula to start a beginning somewhere else. And why not Buffalo? Why not now? And so as this unbelievable start and all these blessings that we receive because of the foundation that those incredible women have set, these young people's time is right now, and they can build Buffalo to newfound heights. And if you got a dream, why not dream in color? Why not dream of a statue of someone in front of University at Buffalo that's a woman that played a sport that happened to become and said that her time was right now. And so that's how we talk to our players about history. It's about becoming history one day for yourself. In order to do that, you got to believe that you can play anybody, anytime, anywhere, in any place.
Down here on the front and left.
Coach, you mentioned Summer just a bit ago. Summer herself talked about just the injury she had to go through a few years ago, and then the COVID year, being a sixth-year senior. I know there's probably a lot to say, but what has Summer meant to this program and to you just over the incredible 6 years that she's been here?
Yeah, you can say a lot of things about Summer Hemphill, but the one word that I would say about Summer is culture. She bought into the culture. She bought into what we stood for. She bought into the defensive side of the ball. She bought into the little silly things that I think are important for young people to grow into young women and eventually phenomenal women. And she not only believed it for herself, she shared that with the other players, and certain things won't be accepted. Being a part of our women's basketball program, we've turned down a lot of talent that wanted to be a part of our program because they didn't fit our culture. And she's the one that shared with us, hey, Coach, this young lady that came up for an unofficial visit, she's really good, but she doesn't fit our culture. And I trust her, and she trusts me. We trust our culture here, and we're building something different than any other school in the country. It's just who we are, and Summer is a part of who we are. And I tell you, she's not just a player and a 6-year vet. She's like my daughter. And I love these young ladies hard. I push them hard, but I love them hard as well.
Down here in front.
Felicia, your first meeting with Pat Summitt, what do you remember about that?
You know, I was with Gail Gestencourt and Carol Ross, and we talked about the players meet 5 people that they would love to meet, living or dead. And one person I said that was living, I said I would love to meet Pat Summitt, because Pat Summitt actually recruited my sister when my sister was the best basketball player in my family. And she never played because she got pregnant at 15, and she turned the scholarship down and stayed home. I said, I would love to meet her. I would have loved to know if she remembered anything about my sister. Well, the opportunity came. We're in Washington, D.C., and she was there to see one of her players, and we were all getting our food, and there's this little, fast food place, and I sat down, and who sits right in front of me? This icon of a human being. This Pat Summitt. I'm like, oh God, what do I say? I mentioned nothing about my sister. It was all about me and coaching. It was like I was so selfish for that moment, and I don't even regret it. And she was so giving of her time and so giving of all that she. That's what makes her so great. She will give you her whole playbook, but she'll beat you because there's something that she brings that no one else can bring. And then eventually I ran into her at a Final Four, and her team was in it, and they were walking down the street, and I was walking towards her, and it's a couple, 3 years later, and I just know there's no way. This lady knows so many people. She's just an icon. I'm like going to wave and continue. I said, how you doing, Coach? And how you doing, Felicia? I'm like, and that's no disrespect of her accent, but it was an accent. It was a beautiful Southern accent. And she walked by, and I said, thank you for saying hi. And she said, sure, have a good day. And I walked by, and I honestly had a tear in my eye. I'm like, this is the most incredible lady, and I don't get starstruck. I met President Obama. I met, Magic Johnson. I met a lot of people in my life. Nothing. Hi, hello. But Pat Head Summit was somebody I said, it's going to be etched in my brain for the rest of my life. And so I get that, the awness and the greatness that these young people may feel here, because I sense it too. But I think the way you respect somebody like a Pat Head Summit is that you stay authentic to who you are. You build it the way you build it, and you trust in your skill set, and let the chips fall where they may.
Here in the back on the right side.
Hey, Coach Andy with ESPN. You mentioned Dawn Staley and the piece of the net. Can you tell us about when you got that, and was there a note attached to it, and what did that mean to you?
Yes, she sent a note to everyone. Basically, she said, dreamers dream, coaches coach, and we all can basically become. And I just need you to know that from a person that went to a Final Four and won it, this net is just a reminder of I see you. I know you're working hard to try to build something. It's just a kind of friendly reminder that you too can be. You just got to go out there and find a way to take it. And I paraphrase it for sure, but this is my 33rd year in the business, and I just sometimes you kind of get complacent. You don't realize it just kind of go on this mundane day, and you yell at kids. You tell your husband for the 97,000th time, what's for dinner? We got to order out because I'm not cooking because I don't cook, and you get comfortable in your own way. And that net said, stop, think, realize, go take it. And that's all of us. It's not just for only black women. It's for anybody. And I think that, I shared that with my son. You can, I think my son's best days are his latter days. And, even though you don't have some success at the beginning, if you keep fighting, you keep trying, you keep believing, you too can. And you just got to believe it. And that net is a significant piece that I have over my computer. As I turn my computer on every day, I look at it and say, yeah, today is the day I take it 1 inch better. Thank you for asking.
Cora Hall, the Knoxville News Sentinel. You talked a little bit about your interactions with Pat Summitt and what that meant to you. You're now facing her protege tomorrow in Thompson Bowling Arena. What's it like for you to face off with a former Lady Vol who learned from someone who you admired like Pat Summitt?
Coaching is coaching. I have a lot of respect for Coach Harper and her staff and what she's done from Western Carolina to NC State to Missouri State to here. And this is a coach that she breathes out 25 wins a season. She's a winner, and she's an incredible winner. She has a great team, and she got a great university. I think the only way I can respect somebody like her is give her my best effort. And so that's what I'll do. I'll give my best effort. Our kids will give their best effort. I'm certain her kids are going to be ready to go. And it's going to be just coaches coaching and having a good time on the sideline, because at the end of the day, I tell my players this all the time, my goal is to get you to a MAC championship. Your goal is to take me further to where you need us to go. So this is for our players. Our players are in charge, and they're in control. And these young ladies, they love to go to the mall. I don't want to go to the mall twice a day, but that's where we went. Went to your mall here twice. That's what they want to do. I'm in the mall too, getting massaged by the little chair and never bought Lululemon. I'm at the Lululemon store. I'm like, what am I going to do at the mall? But this is what they want to do. I gave them my word. I'm going to do what they want to do. And so the majority went to the mall. I went to the daggone mall with them. So this is for them. This is for them. And I don't make it bigger than what it is. But if they want me to take it higher, because that's what they ask of me, I will take it higher.
Down here on the left.
Teresa Walker, the Associated Press. You've been at previous tournaments. As you look around, do you see some differences from past tournaments? And is there something that you maybe have noticed that needs to be changed in the future?
That's a loaded question. And I'm not prepared for all of that question, but I will say I'm excited about our hotel being in a closer proximity. And last time we were in a tournament, we stayed an hour away. And we couldn't take our shoot around because we couldn't come shoot around and go back and then come to the game. And the proximity of our hotel is different. I feel in the air that the NCAA took notice of that we're here. We just want to be a part of this thing. We're not trying to be better than anyone. We're just trying to get what's respectfully ours, and respect to the NCAA. There's more things that's going to be done. There's more things that can be done, and I think that you got to let things grow. And I think that it's important that we don't look at this tournament and say, well, we didn't get that 2 pair of socks and somebody else got 2 pair of socks. Let's not knit and pick everything. See the growth, and I'm all about, as I see with my players, every second they grow and every minute they get better. Every day is a whole beautiful day. I think that we have to be as patient with our organization that we're in as well and allow it to continue to grow. They raise their hand, they're making changes, and let's be patient enough to see the growth become what it's supposed to be and not nitpick everything.
How far away are you this time
From?
your hotel?
I think it's about 15 minutes. And my bus driver, if I ask him to get us in here in 12, I'm scared because we were on 2 wheels at one point. I said, I think 15 is the minimum we should take. All right. So we got a great bus driver, and the kids are laughing and having a good time, and we got to get here in plenty of time to do what we have to do.
Any more questions for Coach? All right, thank you guys for
Thank
joining
you
us.
so much for all
Coach,
you do
thank
for
you for
women's
joining us.
basketball.